What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Both Sides of the Ball. You're here with myself, Coach Stock, and on the other side there is my man, Coach Cason. And we're here today to talk the other side of the ball, which is defense. Coach Cason is going to go through one of his blitzes that he loves a lot, and he's going to go through and explain pretty much everything you need to know about it, step by step. But before he gets into it, before I turn it over to him, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go right now to Twitter, okay, and follow me and Coach Cason. Follow me at Coach W Stock and follow Coach Cason at First Gen Coach. And also, if you like this video, got something you want to say, something you want to make it better, do anything, like and subscribe this video. And also turn on your notifications so that every Wednesday you will not miss a beat, will not miss an episode. All right, guys, so I'm done. Let's turn it over to Coach Cason.
Let's get right into it. All right, today I'm going to talk one of my favorite blitz, and it's not going to be something that you've never heard of or never seen. It's actually affectionately called the NCAA blitz, and by that, NCAA blitz means that most college teams run it. The difference, I'll be going through a lot of details of it and explaining exactly how some of the best principles I've seen it the way it's taught. All right, so let's get rolling in. All right, I already told you we call our blitz Stark. So what Stark is for us, we're going to put everything in families. So our quarters, coverages, our split field stuff's in a family. Our blitzes are in a family. Our cover three stuff's in a family. So the superheroes, all it tells them is that it's a 5-man pressure with a cover three rotation call. So it's pretty much a fire zone. So all Stark is, hence Tony Stark, the Iron Man, this is a strong side overload fire zone pressure. So what exactly is a fire zone? Said it before, it's a 5-man pressure with a 6-man cover three rotation. There's a lot of ways you can do it. Generally you have 2 deep thirds, you have a middle of the field player, a relate to 3 player, and 2 curl and a flat players, typically, all right? So why do you want to use fire zones? A couple of reasons. It's a safer way to bring pressure, so you're bringing that 5th guy, all right? It typically forces the quarterback to make a fast post-snap read, accelerate that read, and force him into a bad decision, that he's not expected to make. He gets those same pitchers every single down, and then all of a sudden at the snap, the pitcher changes, and he's got to react on his feet with guys coming at him, running different pressure patterns, all right? And generally, the quarterback – hot receiver, what core offense is called a hot receiver, the guy is going to look to, if he gets that pressure, is going to get covered up by a new defender rotating into the zone. We're going to attack where the weaknesses are of each pressure, okay? First things first with our flat zones. All right, the weaknesses of the coverage, everything I believe you do, every defense has a weakness. You just have to understand what the defense's weakness is and what to do to make a constraint for it. And it's all tools in a toolkit that allow you to have multiple ways of attacking offense, okay? So there's never there's not an ultimate defense. If not, we'd all run it. The weakness is that there's only 6 in the coverage. Regularly we have 7. We'll have a 7-man coverage in our quarter stuff. Doing so, having only 6, creates a void somewhere in those 4 underneath zones of the cover 3 principles, all right? And what typically has to happen is say you have a hook curl and a curl flat, or a weak hook and a strong hook player. Typically, if I bring, like we're going to do today, the strong hook player, the weak hook player now has to become a strong and weak hook player, or vice versa, or somewhere around that. So like a guy that was a hook to curl now becomes a hook to curl flat type of player. All right. Like I said before, they're in families. Today, everything's in families. When we talk stunts, I'm even going to put them into a family. I think putting things in families and giving them a category is a great way to teach kids. It's a great methodology and pedagogy for how to teach kids to build off what they have, so they learn a lot of things really quickly, so you can add those tools that you were looking for, all right? We want to keep it likable and learnable. All right, so here is the diagram for it. Is that a 2x2? All right, giving you our base look that I've talked about in previous videos of what 2x2, what we're going to look like 2x2. And that's one of the best parts I'll talk about later is the disguise. But for now, let's start, left to right. So both of my corners are in deep thirds. My boundary safety is coming from the boundary is going to become that middle of the field principal player that we won't talk about too much today. We'll discuss more of the blitzes. But the star, who looks just like he's lining in his quarters, 3/2 stuff, is going to come off the edge and play a force blitz. All force blitz means is he's bringing that pressure, that blitz. He's coming off the edge as hard as he can. Any pullers or anything he gets, he has nobody, the next guy to spill it to is really far. The only way that we would spill something is if a certain they added from the opposite side. All right, we have to understand those kind of principles and learn our umbrella. All right, so the end is doing what we call a stick stunt. We have two types of stunts. They're broken in. That's the two families of stunt. You have a stick and a spark stunt. And as you can see, the nose is doing a spark stunt, and we'll talk about the differences between those. I think that's one of the real keys. But as you can see here, if everything goes right, he's coming in all the way into the A gap. So that's kind of a distance for him, but this is what makes the zone blitz work. All right, the Mike's coming through that B, going like a piston, straight through it, hard as he can, trying to get that 2-on-1 in the back if we can. All right, the nose is going to slant into the weak side A, and the tackle, and we'll talk about the details of it later, the tackle is running his base 4-eye stuff. So he's going to strike and read the guard and do his thing, and if it becomes a pass, he's going to work to the contained spot. All right, it's a little different than a lot of people. A lot of people are going to take that tackle and stun him straight out into a 5 shade. I'm going to do that a little bit differently, and I'll tell you why here in a couple minutes. All right, so the will is going to come into technically the strong hook zone. I want as much carryover from our quarter stuff. So he's basically going to relate to 3. Wherever 3 goes, he's going to find the new 3 and take him inside trail and underneath him, okay? As I said before, the jack is going to have that curl flat to the backside. So we're going to go into more of it. All right. Why do we want to do these things? Why do we want to run this stunt? I want to be able to teach a defense. I don't want to call a defense. I want to be able to tell these guys and my guys understand, why are we doing what we do? What is the weakness? How do we protect the weakness? What our offense is going to do to us? And how are we going to win? What is the way to win? So this is the whys of why when I come up there and start presenting it, this is what I'm telling them. This is why we want to do this stuff, all right? The main reason is it's effective, all right? If it's called the NCAA, it's called the NCAA for a reason. A lot of people in the college realms run it, and they have even tighter hashes, so I think that wide hash helps us a little bit, all right? It attacks every single pass protection in certain ways, and we'll go over why and how they do that. You can blitz the formation that you're seeing. You can blitz the back. You can still run it against your 3x1s. And what it does is I love it as a first or second down call. Those and simulated pressures I really like, and hot pressures that we'll talk about at a later date, 6-man pressures. They force tackles for losses. There's a stat on Football Scoop the other day that one tackle for loss in a drive brings the chances of points by the offense in half, nearly half. So we want to find out a way to get tackles for losses. I believe that truly. All right, it's very simple to teach for us. It's literally just a star Mike call put in. From there they're just going to run it. So now instead of calling star Mike Bulldog, all we got to call is Stark. All right. So it's very simple to teach, and it brings in all those families. Once we teach cover 3 and once we teach pressures, they combine. So they're really easy to teach for us. It's extremely versatile. Like I said before, it's an every down call. You can call it on 3rd. You can call it on 3rd 15. You can call it on 3rd 2. You can call it on 1st and 10. You can call it on possession and 10. It is a great, great versatile pressure against pass and run to the strength. And the stunting line going into the week is going to give you some protection to the weak side. All right. You can run it out of every front. I have it here on the right side. This is straight out of the 08 Saban book. Right here on the right side of it next to the Y. It has it from all kinds of different fronts. As you can see, and we teach it the same way, this isn't really a pressure that you have to check out of, and there's not too much thinking to it. It's go. And that's what I really, 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 really enjoy. Obviously, they're going to do a little bit more complex things than I'm going to do, but it's the same principles for the most part. I said it before. The blitz is extremely easy to disguise. You've seen it. I can go back to it. It looks just like the base that we talked about in episode 1. It looks identical pre-snap, and we're going to talk about how we disguise it in a little bit in just a second. And the last thing is there's a lot of variations that are really easy to put into your defense that build off of this. All you can do, we're going to talk about how you can create a weak side stunt game. You can change the pressure patterns, just a little bit of tweak, and it looks like a whole different thing for an offensive line to pass protect, or to understand their run angles towards. And as a former offensive line guy, that's where that I really love that. It makes it really difficult on those guys. All right, you're overloading the front side of the offense. All right, so let's head over to the next slide. All right, so as I said before, we want to talk about those two families, and I really think this is important to say, what are we doing, the difference between a spark and a stick stunt before we get into more of the pressures. And it's really important to understand. So a spark front is that 45-degree slant. Instead of stepping into the guy, he's going to take a 45-degree slant going one gap over, all right? He's going to punch through the far hip with his far hand away from the guy. So I'm a 3-tech on the left side, or I'm a 5-tech on the left side over here, and I'm going to take that 45-degree step and punch right through this right hip, right into that right hip, and I'm fighting the pressure. So if he comes down on me, I want to build it and not get washed down, all right? So my eyes are going to be on the next guy. So all it happens, and this is how I want to teach it, is so I can run outside, inside shades, head ups, and slants, and it be just so much carryover, is that I'm going to tell my guys, all you're doing is slanting. If I'm a 5, I'm slanting into a 4-eye technique post snap. That's all I'm doing. That's what a spark stunt is. If I'm a 3, I'm slanting into a 2-eye stunt post snap. I'm stunting into a post snap 2-eye technique. All right, we're going to go through the 3 main reads they're going to get. So as I said, the guy's on the next guy. So he gets blocked to him. He's fighting. He's going to fight the pressure. He's going to eat the double, and he's just working. Anything comes to him, he's taking it inside out. All right. If the guard, the next guy inside, so in the guard in that term we talked about, that 5-tech coming into the 4-eye, if the guard steps down, he's going to come right off his heels, running straight down the line. He's all running back player. If anything, any pulls or anything comes at him, he's attacking it inside out, going to spill it outside because he's an inside the umbrella player. All right. And that's pretty simple. The last one, obviously, is a pass. So the guard's pass blocking. We're going to slant into it, turn it up into a pass rush, and have some kind of pass rush move. We're probably going to eat a double in the situation, knowing how offenses work, until that tackle comes off for whoever's in the C gap most of the time. All right, so that was our spark stunt, and I want to tell you about our stick stunt and how they differ. The stick stunt, as you can tell, when the original one, we went 2 gaps over. So a stick stunt gives us the ability to go 2 gaps over. Some people call it a long stick. I call it a read. It's like a read stick. So it's like a read stunt. So we call it stick, all right? So it's a deeper slant step. So instead of aiming, 1 gap, on that inside, that far hip with my eyes inside, now I'm aiming at the next guy inside's near hip. So instead of aiming at the tackle's far hip, so if I was a left defensive end, I'm aiming at the tackle's right hip. Now I'm aiming at the guard's left hip. So it's a little bit deeper step. It's not going to be much different. I'm not going to teach it to be like some 90-degree step or like a bucket step, or it's just deeper. You're going to tell them, if you put your guys' eyes in the right spot, they're going to go in the direction you want to go. They just have to understand this is a stick stunt. I'm not going to overcoach that first step in this relation, because I think there's too much you need to do vice versa. He has to make the read still. All right. So my eyes, nothing changes in my eyes. I'm still looking. Now I get to look at that same hip that I'm slanting to. All right. So the difference is if the guard comes towards me, I'm going to cross through his face. So I'm going to punch my outside arm through his inside hip. So it's like a double stunt, and cross his face and go in. If I was a 5-tech, I'd be going all the way into the A. And I'm crossing his face. I should be taking him with me, if anything. If he continues to squeeze me down, I'm fighting pressure. That's it. If he lets me go, I'm going to run flat down the line and figure it out. All right, so the next one, and what's great about this is it doesn't change if it's block away. So his eyes are on that guard, and then the guard steps down. I'm going flat down the line because, technically, I've put myself in the A gap, and that may be a video for a later date that has steel gaps from a 2-high, but I'm putting myself, if you can see this little arrow behind there, I am technically, that arrow's in the A gap. The A gap is disappearing the way it's working. So I'm fighting, flashing down, and my linebacker's going to make me right behind me if I only called a stick and we weren't running a pressure, or, if we weren't running a blitz behind it. And then the last one is if he gets a pass, he's going to do the same thing he does if he gets blocked to. He's going to cross his face. cross into his face, probably take a punch. Maybe even if we know it's third down, he might club that far elbow and fight through, punching through that outside hip, trying to get there, okay? So that is the two. I wanted to preface the blitzes with this so that you understand why I believe it's so effective. All right. And the other thing I want to talk about is the success in the details. Like I said, many people run this blitz. I think a couple of these details, these three main details, are what make it so effective. And the first one is that the tackle that's on that weak side is still playing his regular three-man rush base principles. He is playing his inside shade, strike the tackle, pressure key on the tackle. My inside visual eye is on the guard. So if the guard pulls, I'm not going to lose numbers, even though I'm going to be fine because they're going to be pulling into the pressure. I'm going to add another guy with them. I'm never going to lose that gap integrity by them pulling. And the second thing, and the reason why this is one of the most, important parts, is that if you notice, I'm taking that nose and putting him weak side A. And then I'm putting the B gap player still there. So I'm not striking him out. I'm not sparking him out to the C gap. And I've got that jack outside, inside shade, who can be corrected by the guy behind him. All right. So he's a curl flat. He's a force player. He's going to be a force player. So I don't need that will. And that works perfectly with the blitz because I'm sending the mic. I'm sending the star. I'm covering up all those gaps. Now the will has no gaps, but now we have nobody there. If they're to run slant by number two, that's the weakness to this blitz. And I need a guy to come over there, relate to number three. So if the back starts to come outwards to the same side as the slant, he's going to end up right in that underneath hip pocket of the slant because that's the new number three. And that is incredibly key to not getting beat by those pesky little pull and slant real quick access throws, all right, that we kind of take away from the way we align, but they still might run it knowing that we're such a pressure team. All right, the second one, we just covered it, is the stick stunt. The stick stunt makes it so hard from a pass protection standpoint of protecting this front and protecting this blitz because either way he goes, if I do it right, he's wrong. The guard's wrong. Yeah. If both guys, the tackle steps down to me and I cross his face, so I've taken his eyes. The guard comes to step to me and then I come across his face and now I've taken his eyes. I could exactly, Coach. The way you're pitching your O-line, mine's pitching your head. I could potentially get 2-on-1 on the back at best. If the back's going the other way and they blow the whole half-man slide, there's 1 or 2 on nobody. If it all crashes down, that Mike knows he's going directly. It's going to push. They're going to push in naturally, and he's going to slide right in. Technically, he's going to be a C gap, but he doesn't need to know that. He's going to go straight down, and he's going to play off the cave and play football. And then I got that star on the edge to make him even better. So now he can't be wrong. I'm teaching him to where he can't be wrong. I'm taking the stress off of him, and I'm taking the stress off the will with that tackle and that end by having the end do the stick stunt and having the tackle stay home. That way I'm taking that pressure off the guys that are kind of stressed in this coverage. All right, so in regular quarters, my safeties are stressed, and I help them out, as you've seen, by putting my jack and my star cover-toed outside, absolutely inside shade of the number two receivers, so that they have no RPO threat. They have no RPO. It's going to get out to them before the RPO comes. So now my safeties can play physical, can play aggressive, can play downhill. All right. And the third one is incredibly important, is the disguise until we get the pre-snap indicator. Every offense has a pre-snap indicator. You need to go in as a defensive guy. I cannot stress this enough. I did this every week last year where I would tell the defensive guys on Monday, what is the pre-snap indicator? And by pre-snap indicator, I mean, it's like, is the quarterback lining up in shotgun and giving the old knee high like Peyton Manning and then hiking the ball? What is happening that indicates the ball is about to come? Okay. So before that, they can sit there for 10 seconds, look over the sideline, get the call. All right, good. We got the call. We're going to beat the crap out of this quarter stuff that they're running, and we're lining just like we're in the quarter stuff, and you think you're getting it. And then soon as quarterback, goes to slap his hands, then we're going to indicate we're going to get rid of our disguise. Now, I want my guys to understand, and this is just a philosophical thing, a teaching defense principle that I want them to understand, is that their job will always outweigh their disguise. So what that means is if you're early, screw it, you're early, don't go over, just do your job. If there's something that makes your disguise impossible, like, I don't know, 4 receivers over there or something out of the world that just you can't disguise what you're doing because now it's outflanking us, go do what you're going to do. Go, show it. I would rather you show it early and get there or maybe even get blocked than show it late and you get there half a second. Right. Yeah, because sacks aren't everything when it comes to pass rush and pass pushes. You want to get under those. You want to get around and collapse that pocket and make the quarterback uncomfortable. Make him do what he's not good at. All right, make him do what he's not great at. And we'll show a clip of that in a second, I believe. Here it is. Good timing. All right, so this is just a real quick clip.
Why that has to come on, man? You got to do it against Florida. Come on, anybody else?
Well, Mississippi State had the #1 defense in the nation last year, and they did a lot of this stuff, a lot of this fire zone. They weren't a whole lot of simulated pressure, and we'll talk about simulated pressures in another day, even though I keep bringing it up. They were a big cover 3, cover 1, bring 5-man pressures, do different things. So obviously they're in the boundary, which makes this even more explosive of a pressure because if you didn't have this apex here, we're just going to call the star to keep the same carryover, you would have no idea they're about to bring pressure at all. Yep. That's giving it away a little bit, but he may not even he may be a run and that just be that. So but now that there's so little amount of space, this is really effective. All right. They're starting to spin a little bit. They spin a little bit differently here, but that's not the big deal. I want you to look at the pressure pattern. So right off the height, boom. All right. So now we got that star coming off the edge. You can see
look at his eyes. Wow.
Yep. My end crashes all the way into the A gap. He's going to run that stick stunt. That guard step to him to pass protect him, to pass block him. He's going to step inside and try to take him, and he does. I don't understand why the tackle picks up the star. Not that it's the worst thing. It may have been a call. It may have been, that may have been exactly what they wanted. But because the tackle kicked out and miraculously picked up the star that he's about to do in a second, and then the guard takes all of the end, and then the center gets picked up even though they slid that way, the nose runs into the slide. He's going to get picked up that way. It's going to get me a one-on-one with a back on my charging linebacker running full speed. And I promise you, running backs don't wake up every morning to go pass block. They don't. They don't like to – I'm not saying they don't like to do it. I'm just saying it's tougher, and they don't practice it as much as they practice mesh. That's all I know. So, and my guy's been waiting all day to come flying down. So let's watch it and see what happens. We're going to get 2 views of it. Boom, he hits him. And see, we didn't get the sack. We get a hit. We didn't get a sack. But we're going to see from the end zone cam, I think it's really important that you're going to see the pocket form. All right, so we got the stunt, the nose crossed A. He's going to go into the play side A, the blitz side A. He's coming hard down to the B. 65's picking up the star over there. And this guy's relating to number 3. It's a big thing. You got to understand where your coverages are when you blitz. You can't just blitz your behind off. You can't send 7, unless you got key blitzes and things like that. You can't send people without having coverage behind it. You're going to get beat really badly. All right, we're going to go a couple seconds early. I want to see – this is where he throws the ball from. This is I believe that is the nose right here.
Yeah, because that's the center.
Yep. I got my tackle right here. I got my tackle right here. The star gets crushed, but see how he's building up the pocket. There's no pocket for my guy Franks to step into. I think that's incredibly important when it comes to it. They have a wide open dude. Don't get it twisted. There is going to be voids. He's not wide open. There is a guy off the screen right here that has the curl flat that would probably, between him and the middle field, they would probably vice the tackle for about a 10-yard gain. But look at the throw we get. Whew.
In the dirt. Yeah.
It's because he physically had to throw off his back and lined it in like it was a Kareem Abdul shot. Right. So that's what pressure does. Pressure is, sacks are a byproduct of pressure. Pressure is not a byproduct of sacks. All right. I would much rather get into a guy's face, even if it was just a four-man rush, and hit him hard enough or hit him as he throws or get his ball off just enough, or I'd rather even get a tip by the D-line and it pick off a ball, all those things, than get a sack because it causes turnovers. I'm looking for turnovers. I'm looking to get that ball back to my offense. All right, so let's go to the next one. Let's get back in to a couple of things. All right, we're going to talk some variations before we get into how it attacks pass protection and how to attack each specific pass protection. The variations, there's one or two I really, really love that I'm super excited to go about. All right, so the first one is what we call a Strange. So Dr. Strange, obviously. And if you notice, Stark and Strange both start with an ST, hence the star, hence the strong side. You know, the opposite guys that don't have an ST, guys that don't have an S would be our superheroes to the week. And we'll talk about another day. So nothing changes. That's what's so great about this pressure. Other than the mic and the star will change duties. They will swap. So now I really think this is great if you get like say the running backs to the blitz side, and you're getting that, and it's forcing the quarterback to pull it. So he's going to pull it, and now he's going to pull it right into a mic coming to hit him. All right, I think it's great for that. I think it's great because it's a little bit harder of a pressure pattern to pick up sometimes for an offense if they're expecting the other one, because now my mic is the force blitzer, whereas my star is technically a B gap player. He's technically a core player. He's coming off that edge as a core player. If he gets run away, he is coming flat down the line of scrimmage. If he gets blocked down, he's coming flat down the line of scrimmage, just like he's taught in his regular stuff. So now I've kind of created like a four-man front. I've kind of created an under to the opposite side in a way, if that makes sense. And I've got a guy screaming off the edge. So now this is another way you can get 2-on-1 if they all block down in a certain way. Now you're getting that star off the edge. The back is going to take the star. He's the first guy. And soon as that quarterback, even though he isn't sacked at this point, has to roll away from it left or right, I mean, he's in no man's land to deal with the mic. All right? And the will is key. The will is really key in all of these to pick up that relate to three so we don't have a huge, massive void. All right? So let's go to another variation. Go to my favorite one. This is my favorite one because it attacks half slide and a man slide. It has a man slide, the man side of a half slide beater, and it has the slide side of a half slide beater. So nothing changes for these front guys. Notice how everything we do, like a different call, is just a little bit different. So this is just our Stark ton. So all that's going to change is exactly what it says. A ton for us means the tackle and the nose are running a game where the tackle is going to go first. So now the tackle is sparking. He's the guy that's going to spark inside into the A, and all my nose is doing is wrapping out. My tackle is the main guy here because he's going to get that half slide game, on my backside of half slide where it's man. Now you've got to decide. That center's got to decide, am I going to add myself?
Or I'm going to take it.
Am I going to add myself to the man side, or I'm going to stay there? If I'm going to stay there, that's really tough on the guard because he's thinking this, and he's got the jack right there that the tackle can't help him out with. So now the tackle's got to step back. All right, I really like this. Like I drew it up to these 20 personnel stuff where you got the sniffer, those type of game stuff. All right, I really, really, really like that because I think it gives you everything you're looking for. If they do half slide all the way out and pick up those guys, now I've got a pressure backwards. I got a backside. I got a stunt backside that really attacks that man side. All right, we're going to go to mug. All mug means is mug the gaps, right? This one isn't as effective, but I think it's easier to disguise. And if you add it into some of the other mug package stuff, like the double A's and different stuff like that, all this is telling is nobody's different if you notice. The only difference now is that my mic and my will have walked into their gaps that they're supposed to have pre-snap. And I accidentally miswrote this. This is not a stick stunt, even though he's going two gaps. This is an automatic call for him to go A gap. The mic's going to come hard through that B, and he's going to come right off his butt. So it's kind of like a stunt, a stunt between a 3 and a 5, where the 3's going first. Star's going off. I really, 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 really like this when you have these compressed sets, these McVay sets, as I call them, to attack them. There's a couple other ways to attack them. I want to get into it, and this isn't the best tool, but if you have other tools in your toolkit with the mug package, especially the AA stuff and things like that we'll talk about, it allows you this to really work, okay? If they're expecting AA, expecting all-out man pressure every single time, or they're expecting a Big 12 pressure, like a Kirby Smart type pressure. All right, I'm going to have shop start. What I love about this is another one I keep saying. You'll notice that I just do little tags that change one person. It's kind of like an offensive guy going, hey, we're going to run stick here, but now we're running, slant go on the backside. We're making a sluggo tag or something. Really simple. Shop, show opposite, show opposite. So whoever's the opposite is going to show it. So now my jack, who's normally, covered down on the H over here, is going to show that he's bringing that pressure. My Will, who's, normally in that, aligning to perform somewhere between a 10 to a 30 technique backer, is now going to line up in the A gap on the inside shade of him like he's bringing that heat. And as soon as you get a snap, nothing changes for anybody. Will's relating to 3. Obviously, it's a little bit harder job for the Will, but I'm trying to get that – the reason for this is to get that slide to the Will and the jack. If I can get that slide to the Will and the jack, and now I've got him way outnumbered where I'm bringing the mic and the mic and the star, all right? So now we're going to get into how it attacks and break down the pass protection stuff. And if I'm wrong on anything, you make me right when it comes to pass protection over there, Coach, okay?
I got you.
I just want to talk the left one first. So all these are is half slides to the string, to the pressure. So you're getting that half slide. So the first thing is star coming off the edge. Tackle picks him up because he's sliding out. He's sliding, kicking for that end, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to pick him up. All right, my guard's going to kick 2, which is going to tell my sticking in to go right inside of him. So now he's going to go inside of him. Everything good there?
Yeah.
Everything right? Cool. Mike's firing off, so he's going to technically, if they can fit all that perfectly, they do everything perfectly. Everything perfectly.
Right. Yeah.
They got it picked up on the front side. Now this is where it attacks when you go half slide to it. If you notice, my center's got to make a decision. My center's either got to stay on the slide with him, and a lot of guys won't teach that. But if he does stay on the slide with him, look who I have one-on-one against my nose. I got my 270-pound kid who's a wrestler, who's in there, trench warfare type kid, against a kid that, would much rather run a swing route and catch a ball in space. It just comes down to personnel and knowing your personnel and knowing who you're attacking. This is a case of I know who I'm attacking. I'm attacking this guy on purpose, all right? So we're going to go full slide to it on the right here. I'm going to move you over, Coach, so that everybody can see your beautiful face. And so you're getting that full slide. So everybody's stepping towards the pressure. He's going to take his kick step. Everything's the same on this front side, correct, Coach?
Right.
Because it is on half slide. Because it's all still sliding.
Right.
So where it changes, obviously, is that guard's got to pick up a sparking nose. So his eyes are on the Will to start, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Take that power step inside, and now he's got to pick up a nose. All right? That's where the toughness comes for it. He's got to pick up the nose. All right, that's how we're attacking that. That's how we're attacking that. If it's 2, that's how it's going to look out.
Yeah, that's scary.
It's hard.
I just played an image in my head, and that's
it's doable. It's doable, but it's hard.
You gotta have a guard.
It's cheap pressure. It's very cheap pressure. All right. So now I'm only putting 5 guys in the pressure, and I'm attacking you, and that's what I really like about simulateds and fire zones, especially when you run your base stuff. All right. So nothing's changed on the other side. Technically, the tackle in the back might get they're going to 2-for-1 double up him, and you still got to win all these. All right. So my guard stepping 2, he's still got to pick it up all front side. It's a stress. It's going to stress protections. That's why it's been around for as long as it has. All right. So let's go to the next one. Backs to it. I think I even did half slide to the back. Yeah, I did half slide to the back. So like you're expecting it, like a flop call. You're expecting that overload from it. And the same thing's going to happen between that guard and that center is where it's going to happen, right where that nose. And my nose is going in knowing this. He's going in knowing that if that backs to that side, I'm going to get it. They're going to have a tough time. This is a chance for me to get serious pressure in a sack, or they're going to run their path of their back right into me where I'm slanting. All right, so he's getting excited when I call this. All right, he's got to love this. I'm putting my guy in a good position to be victorious. All right, so now we're going to go full slide this way. So this is you full slide to it, a full slide away from it. It's not going to work. I'm sorry, it's just not going to work. But yeah, so we're going to go full slide here. We'll start with the right tackle or left tackle for you guys. He's going to step with his inside hand out. Jack doesn't come. He'll probably help on the tackle. Correct? Mm-hmm. Yep. Guard steps to the tackle. He's going to pick him up one-on-one, or not necessarily one-on-one. I'm taking it.
He'll have help, but
he'll have help. Yeah, he'll have help. So now my nose is going to slant into it. So while that guy's looking for the will, my nose is going to jump in, enter into his image. Technically, he should get, all things equal, he's going to beat him. My stick stunt's coming. And I accidentally wrote this up wrong, so I didn't do you guys justice. The guard, as he steps down, I'm coming off his hip. Now, I may get picked up by that tackle, but I'm hoping I get picked up by that tackle. Matter of fact, I'm hoping he's going to get picked up because he's, we're taught he slants inside. We're expected to take him, especially if we're stepping in there. We're stepping into him, so he's walking in, just like the nose is walking into the center. But now I've duped him because now I've got two on the one back. So now I'm taking your worst pass protector, and now that you've caved everything down like you should, I'm going to get my Mike and my star, my Mike on the inside half of him, my star on the outside half of him, and whoever he doesn't take is one-on-one with a guy that's not trying to dodge him, but he's trying to throw a ball. So, I feel really good about that. This is one of the first things I'm running if I get slide anyway. All right. So we covered all of them. That's all the four main pass protection you can get. We can go Bob stuff later because I know Coach wants to talk his pass protection stuff. Not a lot of guys run Bob, and if you run Bob, there's some different things. The first thing I would say is to run that stunt if you're getting that Bob stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
There's different things, or that or mugging them. Different ways you can mug them. All righty, Coach. Had a really good time talking through that. That's a lot of fun to talk about fresh.
Most definitely.
Coach, do you have any questions that the viewer might have?
No.
No? Okay.
I just one quick question. Does it matter where that start comes from? Meaning from the boundary, or does it really matter? That's the question.
So my star is always going to align to the passing strength.
Okay.
Most of the time, that's going to be the field. It just depends on how much FIB we're getting. You don't get a whole lot in high school because the boundaries are so tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hashes to the boundary is so tight, so you're not going to get a lot of it. So most of the time he's going to line up to the field, so that's going to negate that is he coming from the weak. Now we have a weak side, the weak side NCAA variation that we'll run, but that would be the answer to that question. Gotcha. Is that it, Coach?
That was it, man. And I'm sitting in my head thinking the ways to beat it. Trust me, it's coming.
That's what I expect. But that's what's great about it is, it's just a tool in the toolkit. If that's all I'm thinking about, if all my offensive lines think about on third down is NCAA pressure coming at us, start pressure, we can run something else. We can run something else. We just, that's why we build tools in the toolkit. We can run a ton of things without teaching way, way, way too much by creating those families, by creating those hierarchy of teachings. All right.
I always say, what? Keep it stupid simple.
We'll it's going to be keep it likable and learnable. All right, that is me signing off. Coach, outro us out of this mug.
All right, guys, I appreciate you once again for watching. Also, once again, if you have any comment, anything you want to say, anything you want to see us talk about, please, please, please drop it down in the comment box below. Also, follow me and Coach Cason on Twitter. Also, turn on your notifications so that on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock when these episodes come out, you do not miss them. All right, guys, it's been great. Once again, I hope you learned something. Always remember what I say. Always, 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 we don't make this stuff up. We steal it from other people and make it ours. All right, guys, it's been fun. Guys, be safe. God bless.